can see, and I can feel your touch. I will trust you, Lord. How I love you so much. Trust is in you. Surrender to you. So many painful thoughts travel through my mind. I will make it through this time, but I'll trust you. Though it's not easy, sometimes the pain in my life makes you seem far away. I need to know you're here. You. I don't want to hear that song. I do want to hear it, should I say. But let me see. I really want to hear that song, but I have to be careful about what I play because they will block my music because it's copyrighted, honestly. Good morning. Hi. Good morning, beautiful people. So it is February the 25th, right? Or 26th. 26th. I'm a day behind. Sorry, I was off yesterday. And I am now live. This is the Fly with Bev show. I'm so happy to be alive today. Today is a better day than yesterday. For those of y'all that saw my status on Facebook, or for those that saw it on Instagram, yesterday was pretty rough, but thankfully, I had a couple people check on me, which I'm very grateful for, and I survived by God's mercy and strength. So I'm actually really, really excited about that. But one thing that I really will incorporate right now is a statement that if you never have bad days, how can you truly enjoy the good days? So I'm just grateful to just, be able to recuperate and to have a little more sunny side upness going on about myself this morning. Yesterday, I took a mental day to have like a day off from work, and I told myself that was something I wanted to incorporate this year. Once a month, I wanted to take a day to myself. Um, hey, Shonda, I wanted to take a day to myself and just do some things for me. So I got a manicure and I got a pedicure yesterday. I was gonna get my hair washed and blow dry because that's all that I go to the salon to get them to do anyway. Because I like to do my own hair. Um, but I got there and they were like their water was messing up. I was like, "Okay." I wasn't mad about it. And then they went up on their prices. It used to cost $10 to get your hair washed and blow dry. Now it costs 15. I said, "Oh, okay. So everybody trying this whole money going up thing, but we still in the pandemic." Okay. Um, but I guess if people still out there shopping and going on trips and stuff, they can raise their prices. So I understand. No sweat. Um, Good morning to those that are just joining. It's the Flower Bev show again on a Saturday morning. I'm happy to be back. I don't know why I feel like I really missed you guys. Um, but I was just wanting to just shed some light today. I really didn't know what I wanted to do today for today's show. Honestly, I didn't have anything planned. I kept saying like, Lord, what in the world am I gonna do for my show? I have no clue, what I could talk about or what I could say, but I wanted to shed light on it. Just started coming to me just how to handle, bad days, and how to try to remain positive during those times. Because I might have done that last year. I got to remember, I got to go back and look, honestly, but I don't think that it's a bad thing to be reminded, just how to handle the bad days, because every day is a mental fight. Every day is an emotional fight. There are some people that may have mastered their emotions and they're able to just, be able to navigate through life without having too much headache or too much mental struggle. But there are some of us out here that are really struggling some days to like remain positive on days when everything seems to be totally upside down. But it is definitely a mental fight, and it's basically like exercise. You have to exercise your mind to remain positive in order to become stronger. So if you never, that's just like trying to go in the gym and lift weights, and you've never exercised, you've never built yourself up to it, but you want to pick up the barbell and pick up 300 pounds. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to like kill yourself almost, if, depending upon your body size, without exercising. So it's the same thing with your mind and heart. You have to really exercise, your mind and heart by trying to think positive, by keeping your mind here and keeping your heart below that, so that you won't dive into your heart and let your heart take over everything, because that's not a good thing. People used to say follow your heart all the time, but I've been taught that the heart is not something you want to follow. It is where your emotions lie, and it fluctuates. So you may feel one way one minute, and then the next minute you feel totally different. So you can never really truly depend upon your emotions to lead you and guide you, but you always have to use your brain to think and to have, that willpower and that strength to not give in to your emotions, because you can lie to yourself by your emotions. You can deceive yourself by the way you feel. So good morning, Tiff. How are you? And it's really like a day-to-day fight and a struggle for some of us to, and some days you're gonna lose. Some days you're not gonna feel like you won. And yesterday, I'm gonna be honest, I that was a losing day for me. And I'm the type of person where even though I've had a losing day, I try to find something in that day that makes me feel like I won at least a little bit. And so, yay, I'm glad too. Yes, life have you up against the ropes. Got to fight. Exactly. And I'm definitely happy to see more people and different people joining my live too. It makes me happy, honestly. I love the support, and I hope that I can feed into you some good things today, even if those are watching on the replay. I appreciate you too. Um, but it's like yesterday, something positive that I took from it was that my day actually started out really well. I was, talking to God about some things, and then all of a sudden, everything after that just went kind of downhill, which goes to show you that even though things start out well, they don't always end well, but there's always a lesson to be learned. And what I thought about, I'm like, man, like I really allowed these few thoughts to like really just take over my day and dominate me, like just straight up just kick me out of a good positive mindset that I was having that morning. And and I'm human and I'm not above, failing, and there was a time in my life, and I can really truly see growth in myself, because there was a time in my life where failure was just not an option for me. Like I was not trying to hear it. Like, no, I'm a perfectionist. This is not what I do. Like I'm not about to sit up here and, and I'm just the type of person that want to do everything right. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you can't have unrealistic expectations of yourself. You have to understand that you are human just like everybody else. You can have bad days just like everybody else. You don't have to have the perfect day all the time for you to still be a good, even if you're like, because some people may think, okay, I had a bad day, I'm not as good or as strong as I thought I was. No, even strong people, have bad days. There's nobody walking on earth that's gonna walk around with every day being perfect. That's just not gonna happen. It's just unrealistic to think that way. I just really listened to this video about this woman talking about she doesn't want to be called a strong black independent woman. And she was like, she doesn't consider that a compliment, because when you think of someone that's strong or something that's strong, you see it as someone that doesn't need help. And I know somebody could listen to that and be like, well, that's not always true. But to some people, I've been called, yeah, you one of them strong, independent women. And the way they said it was like, yeah, you one of them women that don't need no man, huh? And it's kind of like, but my response was, yes, I am a strong, independent woman. But I wasn't saying it like I don't need no man. I was saying it like I don't need no burden. Okay. So if you're gonna be something in my life, you don't need to be a burden, because that ain't what I need. Um, but I definitely need help. I definitely need help. And there are times, and I'm trying my best to work on it. It is not easy. But I've been told that I'm stubborn, and I know I'm stubborn, and I know all the time that I don't feel like I need people to help me. I'm telling y'all, I will help everybody else. But when it come down to people helping me, that ain't for me. That's how I've always been. That's how I've always been with myself. And the older I become, even though I'm still young, it's like I realize just how much further I can get in life with asking for help at times. With asking someone like, hey, today's not my best day, can I talk to you later? Versus pushing aside the way I feel, you know, good morning. Just versus pushing aside the way that I feel to accommodate someone else, because in those moments there are times when I have taken away from myself to give to other people, because I'm like, well, forget about my feelings. How you feeling? And there are some times when you have to do that. You can't wallow in your mess all day. There are times when you just got to suck it up and be like, you know what? Let me help somebody else, because honestly, helping people makes me feel better. It helps me. And but I understand that sometimes you can't help other people until you help yourself. And I've had to learn that. I've had to unlearn a lot of things. A lot of things that women were taught. You gotta push yourself to the side. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You gotta fight through it. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You know, there be times you gotta put yourself on the back burner. You gotta help everybody else. Okay, there's selfless. There's being selfless, and then there's also being foolish. Like, for a lack of a better word, you can be selfless and help other people, but you also have to take in consideration of what you cannot do and what you can do. And you have to know your strengths versus your weaknesses. And you have to know your limitations. And so, me just being open and transparent, I never like to, because there are people that go through things, and it's one thing to tell your business, like about what you're dealing with, but it's another thing to say, hey, I need help. And I can't do this today, or I'm having a hard day today, can we just wait, or can we just reschedule, or whatever the case may be. And I think a prime example of that was my birthday dinner. Like, and this is nothing to anyone else, but I was not feeling good on my birthday. Like, I was having chest pains and all that good jazz. And I was told to reschedule. I was told to postpone my birthday dinner. Like, just go tomorrow. You don't have to go on your birthday. And I was like, no, it's my birthday. And I've already told people, and I don't want nobody to, feel like I'm counseling at the last minute or inconvenience anybody. Really, Bev? Get your life together. Like, if you were to say, listen, I'm not feeling well, can I just postpone this to tomorrow? I'm sorry for any inconvenience this was caused you. Boom. That's it. Right. But because I'm a person of thinking about everybody else sometimes than myself, I push things off and I push through some tough moments to make sure everybody else around me is happy. But me just reaching out saying that, I am not having the best day. I'm struggling with the butterfly mentality. Because I realized I really haven't been stressing that enough this year, but I really have been struggling with this. And I'm just like, wow, like, it's really hard some days to really think positive about certain things. You can think positive about some things in your life, but there are some things that is harder and you got to fight twice as hard. And this one thing that I encountered yesterday is not something new. It's something that I've been battling with for quite some time. But I can truly say, like, I'm like, okay, Bev, you got to get a grip on this thing because this thing is getting a grip on you, and that's not okay. Um, and yeah, everybody is prone to being defeated, to feeling defeated, to losing some battles, but the war must go on, and you must continue every single day to get up with the mindset to continue to fight. There are going to be days when you feel like you are the Hulk, when you can just get up, just throwing stuff to the side, like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you ain't going to have me today. Yeah, it is what it is. And then there are other days when you're going to feel like Stuart Little in the mouth of a cat, like gone, like defeated, swallowed, demolished. Demolition crew then came in and just took you off the scene. Um, but the good news is every day that you wake up is another day to fight. And this morning when I got up, that's what I thought about. Um, I had a few people checking on me, and this morning I responded to someone, and I just told them that I felt so much better today. Like, today is a new day, and that's one thing that keeps me going. It's like every day don't have to be sunny side up. There are gonna be days where it's cloudy. Think about the weather outside. Every day we walk outside, it is not going to be sunshine, but that doesn't mean it has to be rain either. It's a cloudy day. The sun isn't that bright today in Durham, but at the same time, it's not a terrible day. It's just a still day. No sunshine, no rain, just an average day. And then there are going to be some times when the sun is shining so bright, it's going to be beautiful. You're going to be taking pictures of the clouds, and it's just going to be wonderful. You're going to feel like you're on top of the world, or cloud nine, so to speak. And then there are going to be days when it's pouring raining. But I used to really love, like, to talk about rain because I love the rain. And anybody that knows me well know how much I love rain. It's like my favorite weather. Kind of weird, but I love rain. So I compare rain to my everyday struggles. And that's one thing that I haven't been doing for a while. I got to continuously do these things because, it really helped me in the past to really think about what each day will bring. And the rain is beautiful. I love the sound of it. It's soothing. But when it rains in my life, I don't always feel that way. I'm like, oh, here we go again. It's like a mess. But at the end of the day, it's like some people may say, well, rain is just not that good. Like, you always got you out there wet. People say dance in the rain. And so it's equivalent to me to like rejoicing in the time of the storms of life, and rejoicing in the way of where life is just terrible. We don't always feel like it's our best type of day. It's just something else to battle with. We run outside. But when I was a little girl, I used to love to run outside in the rain with no shoes on. Yes, I did. No jacket, no umbrella. And I'm out there just jumping in puddles and running around and like, oh my God, head back in the air trying to see how many raindrops I can catch and drink or whatever. And that was like the fun times. And then you get older and you forget about those times because life is just so different as you get older. But when you learn that balance, to understand that even though that day felt terrible, there was still good in that day, and there was still something good to hold on to. Like when I went and got my pedicure, the lady was just so sweet. She was probably roughly maybe around my age. She might have been a little bit younger, but I was able to actually just have a conversation, laugh a little bit, and just check out a little bit on life. Just as simple as that. Um, and I think sometimes we get so caught up in what we're going through that we can't grasp at least a little bit of sunshine from it. And I think sometimes life does make you feel like you can't grasp anything from it. Because I can't judge anybody's life and say, you need to look at the good, because they may not be able to see the good. They may not be able to see any good in their lives because their dark days are just that dark to the point where they can't see no type of sunshine, no type of light. And I can relate to that. When I was going through depression and I was so far down and I really couldn't see my way about anything, it's like happy people got on my nerves. And y'all know me, I'm bubbly. I'm bubbly. But if a happy person got on my nerves, you know something was wrong with me, because I love being around people that, and I'm not saying that everybody has to be happy that going around, because some people can just be chill or mellow, and I'm fine with that too. But happy people got on my nerves. The most happiest person that I saw at church, I was like, I'm gonna stay away from them because I don't feel that way right now. So I'm just gonna bye. But the more I came out of it, the more I really began to enjoy that person's energy and happiness and joy and things like that. So I really think it's really a mind thing. It's really mind over matter. And I mean, that's really what it is. And that's why I say butterfly mentality over caterpillar struggles. And so it's like thinking about the good things, trying to fly high above those things that really make you feel down and out. It's not always easy. And one thing that I really loved was yesterday. That's another thing. Yesterday, I was speaking with someone that was so happy, and that really made me happy. Like, it's a few things I can grab from yesterday, because I was like, nah, Bev, don't rain on nobody else's parade. Like, this is really, really good for you. Like, be happy with them and for them. And I really enjoyed like talking to them, because I'm like, which I always do, don't get me wrong. But on my really bad day yesterday, I didn't need to give in to my feelings all day long. So being on the phone with them really brought out like, oh my gosh, like this person is so happy today. This is making me really, really happy, and I'm enjoying this. And then I had someone else check up on me and leave me a voicemail. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to call them back. And I called them and I had a really good conversation with them. And it's just like they were reminding me of the things that I would tell them on their worst days. And I'm just like, see, Bev, that's what happens when you try to invest in other people. It comes back when you least expect, and it was a really good thing, because I don't want to invest in people, and all I'm giving them is something that they can't use. Then I'm not really truly benefiting them. But they were able to remind me of those things that I had given them, and that really, really helped me. So that's why I love being who I am. That's why I love being the type of woman that I am, because I don't mind giving to people. And you can give people material things all day long, but what you really can give them is words of encouragement, or words that are positive, or words that remind them that it's going to be okay. And so on their worst days, they're able to reflect, they're able to remember what was said. And then on your worst day, they may even remind you of what you said to them in their darkest hours. So it's not always a giving thing that you can put in their hand that's tangible. Sometimes it's just really giving them something that'll never leave their mind or never leave their heart, or something that they can reflect on and bring them joy in their craziest days, or things like that. And that's the type of person I believe in being. But in order to for me to remember those things, it is definitely a fight some days, just to remember all the good things you said to other people, all the good things that, you've given. I'll never forget when I was depressed. I had a patient, and I think I told this story already before. And I was in my lowest moment, but for some reason I was able to talk to that patient. And I didn't realize that what I was giving this person was what they needed until they said, you seem to have a sense of God, and I knew what they were trying to say. They were like, I feel like people like you that have, you know, a higher power in their life. That's what their words, not mine. They have a little more peace in their life. And in my head, I'm like, what? Like, I'm over here depressed. Like, I really thought about taking my own life, and I'm over here giving you good words of encouragement because I can tell you're depressed, and I'm trying to help you out. But at the same time, they saw something in me that I was just like, wow, okay, all right, I do have the best with me. I do have God. I do. I don't always feel that way, but I do have Him. Um, but it's moments like that when I reflect, I'm like, man, like I was able to put my feelings aside to help somebody, and then they gave it right back to me that I have something that's really aiding my life. And in my dark days, I can still help somebody else based off of what I'm being given. So, and that helped me to like try to be positive about what I was dealing with. But it's a mental exercise. It's a mental push up that you have to do. So that negative thought is the barbell, right? Or the weights on the barbell. And you have to push that negative mindset away. You have to push it away. You have to push it away. And the more you exercise your mind, the more you push it away, the more you push it away, that it may be more that's coming onto the barbell of life. And you have to keep pushing. And before you know it, you're able to lift the heaviest things off of you because you have exercised your mind every day and your heart to push through all those negative feelings, all those negative thoughts, and to not allow them to have you on what do you call it? The not the I forgot the thing that you lay back on, but basically it has you plastered on the ground basically. But as you begin to push and push and push, you begin to feel more strength and more strength and more strength and more strength. And that's with anything. Let's say you have a desire to eat something that's unhealthy for you. And I remember I had a terrible sweet tooth at one time. I mean, a terrible sweet tooth. I'm talking about every time the job brought something in, I was the one, you know, like, they brought donuts. All right, let me do finish up this. I'm going to get me one of them donuts. Go get me a donut. Come back, sit down, eat that one. Then all of a sudden I realized everybody got one. Let me go back. Let me get another donut because ain't nobody else eating them. Or y'all, we getting ready to get rid of this stuff. Anybody want? Yeah, let me get one of them before you throw it away. Like I was eating all the time, all the sweets. Thanksgiving, honestly, like I don't play games about Thanksgiving. I don't like the soul food. Y'all can judge me later. Um, but I really don't like soul food like that. I had too much of it growing up. I love my mom and she's a wonderful cook, but I just don't like soul food anymore. I hate the way it makes me feel. So I have been off of soul food for I don't know how long. So Thanksgiving is not my favorite holiday. I'm gonna just put that out there, unless we're talking desserts, because I would tear that dessert table up. I know one time I came home for Thanksgiving, and my mom was like, "You don't want to eat?" All I had was butter beans and okra, which I love, by the way, and everything else was desserts. I had everything. I had the cake. I had banana. I had whatever she put on there. Whatever my sisters brought, peach cobbler, all that stuff. It was just nothing but desserts for me that I ate. But then I had to break my sweet tooth because it was becoming too much. It was becoming bad for me. And I began to just, I don't even like cake, to be honest. Like people been say, what? Cheesecake is my favorite because it's not that sweet. I can eat cheesecake and I eat it in increments if I feel like it is too sweet. Um, but I don't like regular cake. My mom makes pound cakes and I mean, they'd be the bomb.com, but I don't like it. It's kind of weird. Like I know she did a good job on this cake. I tasted it, but I'm just not a fan of cake. So I had to say no. I had to force myself to say no to sweets, candy, anything. I would just be like, "No, I'm good." Even though I wanted some. No, it's okay. Thank you though. What, Bev? You don't want nothing sweet? No, I don't want anything sweet. Thank you though. And I began to challenge myself to rise above that sweet tooth. And before I know it, I could walk by cake any day. I could walk by anything sweet any day and not regret it. Now I do have cravings sometimes, and sometimes I have to eat stuff like yogurt or, you know, maybe I'll drink juice. Kind of weird, but I may drink juice instead of eating something sweet. Drink like a little bit of juice just to satisfy my craving for like all the other sweet stuff. Because at least they got a little vitamin C in it. I guess that's healthy, right? So what I'm saying is there is always something that you're going to have to deny yourself of. There's always something that you're going to have to fight through when it comes down to your mental battles and your mental struggles. There are so many people that fight with the decision whether or not they want to take their own life or not. And you have to really, truly know that person in order to know how to speak with them. And you may not even have to know them. Sometimes your words could simply be that they could come to you and ask certain things. Oh, good morning, Sister Marlene. Oh, I love it. Good morning, beautiful people. um, and so I just think that it's really like, a battle for them. But if you can say the right thing to someone that really wants to take their own life, that's a really touchy thing because I know of people that, have had the same thoughts that I've had. Didn't really know it until after they told me, but it's not always easy, to get someone out of that mindset. Um, but at the same time, it's a mental struggle. That's why they say mental health is so important. And that's the reason why I wanted to start my Fly with Bev show because as I've said many times, like I think it's so important that we have a support system. I think it's and not just oh, what you need. You need me to buy this. You need me to get this. You need me to get that. But what else do you need? You need me to listen to you. You need me to, try to help you find a solution, to what it is that you're dealing with mentally because I think mental health is not just for women. Mental health is for men too because I really know that men fight battles that they don't tell us. They fight with things in their minds and their hearts that they don't speak on because they feel like they have to be the one on top of everything. They have to be the one that stands strong because they're the head of the household or they're the man or they're the brother or they're the father or they're the grandfather, so they have to portray this image that they always got it together. But that's not always the best thing, for them to have to handle those battles. And that's why you have to be gentle with men, you know, and it doesn't mean that they're soft or they're weak. It just simply means that when you know that someone is, not themselves and they're a man and they're quiet or whatever the case may be, it's your job to not just check on the women around you, but check on the men around you because they're the ones that's carrying the heaviest load sometimes mentally and emotionally because they feel like if they break down, everything else around them gonna break down. Maybe because they're the man and they're the ones that have to be in charge and have to hold up this standard of what a man should be. And a man should be whatever it is that he is. And he should never feel bad for having struggles. He should never feel bad for having moments of just we would consider that someone would consider them weaknesses, but vulnerability, being vulnerable about how he really feels. If he's depressed, and we got to figure out how we got to fix this thing, if you can, and it's like leaving that space open for them to talk about it. So tell me how you feeling, like how you really feeling. How was your day? Like, okay, well, what happened today? Like, you don't seem yourself. Are you okay? Well, tell me how you feel. It may not be what you want to hear because it may be something that you never expected to hear, but you may need to be the one listening, even if it's your brother, even if it's your father. I'm not opposed to asking my dad, like, are you okay? Like, you don't seem yourself. Are you all right? Like, what's going on? And he may tell me all day long he's okay. But in my mind, I'm like, no, you're not. And I'm like, all right, I already know. You ain't gonna tell me, but I'm gonna pray about it. And asking my brothers, like, like what's going on? Like, you all right? Creating that dialogue, creating that open space. Because we may look at someone as not doing what they normally do as them being lazy, but in their minds, they're struggling. to uphold what they normally would do. Like when I was depressed, my room, my mom used to tell me all the time, girl, you got the cleanest room in the house. Pretty sure she don't tell me that now. But she would tell me, you got the cleanest room in the house. Like every time I come in your room, it's just clean. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. But when I became depressed, my room was just messy. My room was messy. It was so messy. And they would come in my room and be like, why in the room is your room messy? But no, I was trying to hide that I was depressed. So I would be like, okay, well, let me clean it up, trying to maintain, but I just couldn't. So, you may look at someone and see that they're not themselves, and it's okay to ask. But if you don't really want to know, don't even bother asking, because if you're going to make them feel bad for being vulnerable, then what's the point of them opening up? Let me see. Sister Darwinika says, love that. Vulnerability, not weakness. So good to talk about this perspective. Our brothers be hurting too. Exactly. They are always dealing with something that we don't know about. And it's not always easy for them to open up because they're looked to as weak if they open up and say, this is what I'm going through, or if they cry. Crying is not a weakness, okay? It's just a method to clear out whatever's going on in your mind and heart so that the sun can shine again. I look at it as rain. It's raining right now, but eventually the rain is going to clear out and the sun's going to shine. I mean, that's just how I look at tears. And honestly, like the older I become, the better I look at men in a certain way, because I used to look at my dad as Superman. Honestly, like Superman. I was always a daddy's girl anyway, so I stayed up underneath my father. Always saw him strong and confident and laughing and talking to all these people and just looked like. But there was one time when I saw my father and I was like, and I had to ask him, "Are you okay?" And I was a little girl. I'll never forget this. He just looked stressed. He just looked distraught a little bit, and I had to ask my dad, "You okay?" And he kind of looked. And I was just like, but men go through stuff. My brothers, like they go through stuff. Not to just, but I'm just saying, like if you're going through something, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen where you're not gonna be able to hide it. You're not gonna be able to hide it from the people that really truly care about you. And they may not open up and say, like, you may not open up and say what's wrong, and that's okay. But the fact that somebody recognized that something is wrong with you and they're asking you, it's kind of like, wow, like that can make you think right there, like, wow, somebody really does care. Because sometimes people don't think that other people care about them until they're asked multiple times, are you okay? Because when I was out on my job and I was depressed, I mean, it was like so much stuff. And I made a lot of mistakes on my job that was just ridiculous. And thankfully, they weren't life threatening to anyone else or anything like that. But it really made me see, like, man, like, Bev, you can't hide the fact that you're struggling so hard. You want to, but you can't hide it. And I made up in my mind right then that I would not be going through so much to the point where it was affecting other people and affecting my job and affecting my home life without telling somebody I'm going through. I'm going through a lot right now. Even if I don't want to tell them because I don't think they can handle it, you know, I have to say I'm not well. And it's okay to not be well. It's okay to not be okay. You just got to do what you got to do. Take a break, take a step back, take a moment, think about things, and really just get yourself together and be like, I need this time away. So that's why I encourage myself to take a day off mentally every single month and try to do something for me. Try to take a moment for me. Like I think that is a wonderful thing. And even men need to do that too. I really can't stress the fact that, men really need time, to do those things. Oh, greetings, sis. I see my sisters on here. I see y'all. Communication is key. Absolutely. Communicating those things and letting them know like what's going on. And I can get all over the place when I start talking, but when I see the comments and stuff, but it's really a thing of just making sure that the people around you understand. And it's not always easy because me, I've always been quote unquote the strong one. And not that my other siblings haven't been, but I've always been the bubbly one, always been the outgoing one, always been the fun one that, everybody knows like, oh, she's the social butterfly. Like she's just always talking to people. And so it was hard for me to release that vulnerability to say, hey, I'm not okay. because I didn't want no one to be worried or to feel no type of way about me not being who I always was in front of them. And so then I had to realize, Bev, it's okay to not be yourself. That lets people know that you're human. And for you to expect to uphold this unrealistic expectation of yourself, then that makes you not true to yourself. That makes you not lying to yourself, deceiving yourself that you have to be this perfect person in front of everybody. And I think when you finally open up and say, I'm not okay, some people are really shocked because they can't believe it. But at the same time, some people are like, well, she's human. Like they're accepting of it, but you do have to communicate it. And that's what I learned. I told myself that God be my helper. Whenever I'm going through a whole lot, I have to open up and tell somebody because I don't want to sit around and carry that weight by myself, or not even about somebody helping me, but it's just about letting people know where I'm at so that they won't expect me to do those things I normally would do, because I really can't handle it at the moment because I'm so far down. And I think once you do that, it allows you to see other people too for who they are, because when you tell someone, I'm not okay, I'm going through, and yet they're still pressing you to do what you normally would do because they're so used to you doing this and doing that, and they're not like letting up on you, and they're not really showing mercy, or what's another word I can use? They're not really showing that they really truly care about you. They're being selfish. Then that's when you can realize, like, okay, well, this person ain't here for them. They're not here for me. They're here for what I can give them. And then that's when you have to analyze that and say, hey, look, you're being selfish because I'm telling you that I can't bear that right now because I'm doing this and I'm going through this. And then at the same time, you're trying to push me to continuously do what I normally would do. I can't do that for you right now. And I need you to understand that. And if they don't understand it after you've had a conversation, then you know what you got to do. You got to start distancing yourself. Or if you want to give them another shot at it, you can do that too. It's totally your life. Um, she said, that's so brave of you. Sister Marlene, you got to remind me of why you made that comment because I've said so much stuff. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Let me see. It's a struggle dealing with patience. Then I'm trying to keep doing something, even though I want what I prayed for. I'm falling back from thinking about it. But it is a struggle, girl. Let me see. It's a struggle dealing with patience. Then I'm trying to keep doing something, even though what I want, I prayed for. Even though I want what I prayed for, I'm falling back from thinking about it. But it is a struggle, girl. I'm reading this again because I want to make sure I answer it in the right way. It's a struggle dealing with patience. It definitely is dealing with patience. Now, when you say patience, there's two types of patience: patience with people and patience with yourself. Well, three types, and patience with God because we can't expect Him to move on our time. He moves on His own time. But yes, being patient with yourself, being patient for the things that you ask for, that's definitely a struggle as well. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be some fights that, you're like, okay, I'm really patient about this thing. I'm thinking positive, changing my mindset to think good about what it is that I'm praying for. But at the same time, okay, so you're struggling with but the fact that you haven't received what it is you're asking for, okay, that's normal. That's normal to struggle with that. Trust and believe me, you're not alone in that area. There are things that I'm asking God for. There are things that I'm desiring for, desiring God for, and desiring God to do for me. And I have to find myself saying, "It's okay. It's God's time and not yours. It's God's time and not your time, Bev. And His time is perfect." It's yes, I'm going. That's great. And it's God's time is perfect and His will is perfect for us, and it's just a moment of just surrendering those things. And the I think the thing that I work on, Sister Nakia, is the fact that I tell myself, all right, it's God's time and not mine. Let me just give it to Him. And then I ask God to help me not even think about what I'm asking for, but just reward me when you see that I'm ready. And I think that helps too, because you don't have to constantly think about something for it to come to pass. You don't have to do that, because to me, I feel like you're dabbling into worrying sometimes, or constantly thinking about it. Now, if you're thinking about it and receiving it, that's one thing. But if you're thinking about it hasn't come yet, then that's the danger of, getting yourself in that impatience part. It hasn't come yet. I'm keep asking, but it hasn't come yet. Think about receiving it. Think about how it's going to feel. Think about how it's going to be. And then remind yourself that I'm pretty sure it's going to be way better than what I'm expecting. But think about it in expectancy. Don't think about it and you haven't received it. And then be like, okay, and if it comes to your mind, I haven't received it yet. Push that away. But think about, but when I do receive it, this is going to happen. Or I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to how this is going to feel. So expectation is one thing, but remembering how long it has been since the first time you asked for it, that's a whole nother ball game you don't want to get yourself into. So I understand that struggle. I've been there, but you got to change yourself. And I'm still there with certain things. So I understand. And that actually helped me. I'm glad you said that because that's helping me think about changing my perspective on the things that I have yet to receive. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sister Merlene says the part about telling you are not well and going through something. I have had a hard time communicating with those around me because I don't feel heard and I'm just used to keeping things to myself. Hmm. In the moments when you don't feel heard, I'm thinking. I say communicate it anyway. I would say communicate how you feel. I would say tell them that I'm not well, I'm having a hard time. And I would say block off some time where you can just be alone if you can do that. But if you're having a hard time being heard, first things first, and I mean this with the most care and concern I could possibly give without trying to step on any toes because I don't know your situation. I don't need to know it. I don't want to know it either. By the way, not in a bad way, but just, keeping your business to yourself. Um, Ask yourself how you're delivering it because sometimes it's not what we say, it's how we say it. Sometimes we can say things when we're frustrated. Sometimes we can say things in response to someone asking us to do something, and our response is, "Listen, I'm not feeling good today. I don't want to deal with that right now. Can I just wait?" Like blah blah. And if you check all the boxes off and you realize that the way you're saying something is the best way you can do it, like if there's no other way you can think of to deliver that message, then you have to ask yourself, "Man, like, hmm, hmm, okay." So it's not you, then it's the other person on the receiving end of it. And you really have to challenge yourself to figure out how do you talk to them in their language. So the first thing is there's a way to present to someone that you're not having the best day and that you're not able to give at the moment. And I think it's getting out in front. Like if I wake up in the morning and I realize my day is already bad or I'm not feeling good that morning, and I know that someone is going to expect me to do certain things, there's a way that I could do something. I could be like, "Hey, listen, this morning is not starting off pretty well. Do you think at some point in today that I can get a few moments to myself just so I can just think or get some stuff together, and I'll do this. Sometimes you may have to exchange. Okay, I'm gonna do this for you, but at some point today, I'm gonna need this time just to be by myself." And you have to give a little and take a little, and versus just taking all away from everything and just saying, "Listen, I got to do this for me. I ain't studying you." You may have to say, "Okay, well, let me do this for you, but right now, can I do this for myself? Give me like 20 minutes to myself. Just give me 30 minutes to myself, and then whatever you need for me to do, and that moment afterwards, then I can get to that then, But right now, I'm really not having a good moment in my life, or I'm really not having a good morning, or whatever the case may be. Start it off in a way where they know you still care about them, but right now you got to care about you too. I think that could be something that really helps because, like I said, if your response is within the heated moment or a moment where you just had it up to here in your eyebrows with all these requests today, like let's say you're on the job and the manager keep asking you to do stuff, but you're not feeling your best, and like, look now, I'm not even feeling good today. I ain't got time for your foolishness. Like, can you just wait a minute? This is like the third task you didn't ask me to do and I only been here for 3 hours. Like, that response right there is not going to get you the best okay, well, you should have said something. That's not going to get you the best return. But if you're coming in and you're coming into the job and your manager says, "Hey, I need you to do this," and later on I got another task, you be like, "Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Julia, listen, my morning didn't start off too well. Just can you, is this an emergency right now? Because right now I just need to get settled into the job. Give me like 30 minutes to just get myself together and just pull myself out of this at least a little bit, and I'll get to the first task you asked me to do. Just give me a little bit of time. And I think that helps people to understand, like, okay, ooh, I'm jumping on them a little too early. Let me just step back a little bit and give them the moment to get themselves together. So I think that's very important to like just let people know up front what's going on. That way they won't be surprised when you tell them I can't right now. And then once you've done that, then you know who you're dealing with. If that person just seems selfish and there's a way, you're gonna have to come in their language. Because people don't think they're selfish. They don't think they're selfish until um how about never sometimes? They don't really realize they're selfish or pushing you to the degree where you can't take it until you have just went off on them. And it's crazy that you have to do that for people to realize, listen, you're pushing too hard and I'm not for it today. It's sad if you have to do that. But if you can try to come at them in a way where they can understand you and hear you and you've already done all your part, then it's really not you. You know, it's them, and you have to try to figure out how to get them to see things. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm sorry. I hope that helps at least a little bit. Sister Nakia says, "Oh, okay, yeah. I think about I'm asking and I haven't received it, so I'm going to change my perspective." Absolutely. The glass is half full, not half empty. It's always about perspective. That's why I say butterfly mentality over your caterpillar struggles or through your caterpillar struggles. So while you feel like you haven't received what it is you're asking for, just say, you know what, when I receive it, I cannot wait to receive this. I'm looking forward is better. I'm looking forward to receiving it, and just start expecting it. Just start imagining what it's going to be like versus keeping track of time. Yeah, keeping track of time will just, it'll drive you crazy. But if you change your mindset about how it is that you're waiting, I think that's a beautiful thing. Um, it really helps you think more so on the positive side versus the negative. Don't worry about who has received it. You know, well, such and such got this, or such and such got that, or they was praying for this and they got that. Don't worry about stuff like that. Mm-mm. God's timing is the best timing. So just look forward to it and say, Lord, when I'm ready, I'm ready. When I'm ready, hand it to me, Lord, or give it to me, whatever it is that you are desiring. So I hope that I helped somebody today. Thank y'all for what's going on, Zakeen. My brother Zai, what's up? um, but I do hope that I've helped someone today with something positive in their minds and in their hearts. It's not always easy to fight our everyday battles and our everyday struggles, but the key is to have a mind to fight. Sometimes we don't have a mind to fight. And to be honest, sometimes that may be okay because you're like, you know what? I don't have the strength to fight today. So this just got the best of me. But I do believe even within that is purity. Like it's pure and it's human and it's normal and it's natural to even think that way. And but you just can't stay down there that long. You can't stay there. You can't let that unwillingness to fight stay, if that makes sense. You can't let it manifest or that seed grow. You have to uproot that seed. It may be a thought, I don't feel like fighting today. That's normal. But guess what? You cannot hold on to that. I don't feel like fighting today, but I got to try to do something, even if it's just to say thank you for another day. That to me says something. Gratitude always can replace sometimes the worst moments of our life. Just being thankful. And that's what I did yesterday. Before my night ended, I just began to thank God for everything. Anything that came to my mind. Thank you, God, for this. Thank you, God, for that. Thank you, God, for the opportunity just to be able to say thank you. Like, just being grateful for what you already do have. And that right there alone gives you a little bit more strength to fight for those things that you're reaching out for, um, and that you stand in need of. So I really do thank God for yesterday. I really do. It was a tough day, but it was a needful day for me. It was a day that I needed to have so that I could really reflect on my humanity. And also, it made me really just reach out to God. It really did. And I told somebody it really made me reach out to God a whole lot more than normal. Not even than normal, but I just really just was able to just reach out. Did I really get everything that I really wanted that day? Maybe not, But I really still challenge myself to still do it anyway, regardless of the outcome, because God comes in His time and He knows when that time is. So I'm very, very grateful and I'm encouraged today. And I hope that you all are too. I hope that anything and everything that you're going through, anything that you lack, just know that it's not going to always be this way. We may have to fight different battles every day. There are going to be different things that we may want throughout life, but you know, everything happens in the time it's supposed to. And you should never ever feel like you're just a lost cause simply because you don't have those things that you desire. One of these days you may look up and if it's God's will, you'll have those things. Just try your best to understand that it's not your time, but when your time has arrived, can't no one stop it. You're going to get it. You're going to receive it. You're going to overcome whatever it is you've been fighting so hard to. Because think about it, we are never going to have something in our hands immediately unless it's just how it works out that in that situation. But we may pray and ask God for something, and then we're going to be challenged on our wait and on our faith on waiting for those things. And yesterday, I really reflected. I was like, man, I've been praying about some stuff, and maybe that's why I'm dealing with the things that I am dealing with. But at the end of the day, I know there's going to be a time when this particular fight is going to be over. And I'm going to look back on today and yesterday and be like, man, I remember when I talked about that. And I remember when I felt just hopeless. But at the end of the day, that fight is over. So, hi, Sister Shalom. How you doing, girl? I think I usually have the strength 2 to 3 days in a week. But you're right, sis. This past week, I felt like staying away from everyone and not even hear anyone breathe near me. But I thank God for those who reached out. Having people around who helps you to overcome your stormy days through their words is definitely a blessing. By the way, greetings, sis. I really appreciate you all. I really, really do. And that's one thing that I can truly say. Like, you know, that's why I said you got to make sure the people that you have in your life are worth being around. It's not about people giving to you all the time, but it's definitely a give and take situation. You should never, 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 be in a situation where someone's just constantly taking and they never have anything to give because you'll be drained by the time you turn around. Sister Merlene says, thanks, sis, and have a great day, everyone. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Definitely, you're welcome. Y'all keep me in prayer. I'll be praying for you all as well. I love y'all. And of course, I got to end with my song. So just so when we part ways, just want y'all to know that we had the best. So, oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Oh, hi, Destiny. Bye, Destiny. It's my sister, y'all. That's my roommate. I'm just kidding. All right, y'all have a great weekend, and God willing, I am off to do some things for today. And I love you all, and thank y'all for joining my live. And I look forward to having people on next month. I'm going to try to do at least one person each month, like I said last year. So I'm looking forward to that, to do other things, not just to hear me talk, but to have other people on. So I love y'all. Have a great day. Bye.